Real One Radio.
What's up, y'all? DubtownRob. This is the first ever episode of Viewpoints. I'd like to welcome you guys to our first episode. Everybody that's in the chat right now, thank you guys for checking in. Donovan was good. Eric was good. I created this platform. To let people share their voice. You know what I mean? Everybody has opinion on what's going on in the world today. Everybody has an opinion on what's going on in the state of hip hop, whether it be politics, whatever it is. You know, everybody has an opinion. I wanted to create this show to let everybody know that it's okay to share your voice. Whether we follow you, what you believe in or not. You know what I'm saying? That's really where we're at right now. And today, for the first episode, I'd like to present a very special guest co-host today. He goes by the name of Paul Harper. He's live, and I'll go ahead and let him introduce himself. Paul, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining Viewpoints today.
Hey, how you doing, Rob? All right. Yeah, I'm Paul Harper from Merced, California. Studied a lot of human service and social behavioral science. And I'm here just to give some feedback on my opinion and my thoughts about the entire situation, the situation at hand, the situation that has been, and so forth.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today, man. We really appreciate it. And I encourage you guys, if you guys are out there watching and listening right now, tap into the phone lines. The phone lines are open. The phone number to dial is displayed right now on top of the screen. 818-336-1495 is the number to dial. You could definitely tap in. Call in. We want to know your opinions. We care about what you have to say. Whether we agree with it or disagree with it. I mean, that's the foundation of living in America. You know what I'm saying? Whether we agree or disagree, that's the foundation of being the type of people that we are. And, so off the top, man, let's just get into it, Paul. I mean, the current state of our nation right now, I mean, as being a black man in America, I mean, how do you feel about the current climate?
First, I want to start off and open up with something. And then I can be able to share my political view on it, my personal view on it.
Okay, for sure.
And my personal experience on it. And this is by Dr. King. He's saying, I'm happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree is a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who have been seared in the flames of a withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still badly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro's lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds itself in exile in its own land. So we come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we come to our nation's capital to cash a check where the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. They were signing a promissory note to which every American was fall to hair. The note was a promise that all men, yes, black as well as white men, would be guaranteed unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today in 2020, that America has defaulted on this promised note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. And I wanted to start with that.
That's deep.
So we can have an understanding of who we are, where we come from, how they look at us, and why do we have to fight in our own home.
That's power, man. That's power. That's powerful for sure. I feel like, you know, those words, man, that prophecy has you know, revealed itself today. Those are the times that we're living in those times before, right? But you know, history always repeats itself, and now we're living in those times today. You know what I mean? And you know, as speaking for myself, man, I feel like the current climate, and let me know if you guys can hear me okay on Facebook. The current climate right now is so volatile. It's very you know, flammable. You know what I mean? And just based off of that, like we gotta like unite and come together in a real way.
One thing I want to say is Rob, is we got to look at this situation very clearly, and we got to look at it with an open mind. We're protesting for justice. We're out there protesting for equality, saying Black Lives Matter, because we do matter. But one thing I want people to understand, my people and all people of color to understand, is this. We marched as a people. We fought in the civil wars and everything to be free. And today we are free. We don't have to fight for no longer injustice. My wife is white. I no longer have to be lynched because I looked at a white woman anymore. Even though it may be frowned upon, doesn't mean that it's tolerable. America does not allow that. The law does not allow that. Because under the law, we are free.
Right.
All men are created equal under the law. And just because all men are created equal under the law does not mean that the human who's behind the law accepts the law. We got to remember there was a war, a civil war that was fought because people did not agree with blacks being free. But they lost the war does not mean that they agreed with what they lost. So we got to understand we're dealing with ancestors of those people in today's society.
Right.
And we're dealing with these people who are getting behind the badge. The Bible told us and it taught us that be aware of wolves in sheep's clothing.
Exactly.
Because now it's not just the outward racism. It's not just the racism because we can't get a drink of water out of a certain fountain, or we can't go to a certain school, or we can't vote anymore, or we can't walk down a certain neighborhood anymore. No, we have that freedom. We have that right now. We no longer need to march or fight for that. That has been done.
Right.
Now we're fighting a spiritual battle, the matters of the heart. The people who put on those badges are still human beings. That man who put his knee on Floyd's neck was a human being. He had hatred in his heart. The badge does not hold the hatred no longer, because that is not the law. That is not acceptable anymore. That is not tolerable. Not even for anyone. Not even for the Pope who spoke out